What am I looking for? Facebook. Superwoman can do it.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hi, everyone.
What is going on?
I'm Angela.
And I'm Ron.
And this is
Chatter of Opinion.
So what's our topic today?
Today we're going to talk about families, family dynamic, and relationships. And the relationships you do or don't have with your significant other. Okay. So the topic is, should you end your relationship with someone because of their families?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Because my energy is not worth it sometimes.
Okay, I would agree.
Yeah.
Because now, especially, I think in today's age, because before you used to just mind your business, families get involved in your relationship.
They think they have a right to be in your business.
All up in your business, no matter if it's your finances, the way you raise your kids, if you just get into a relationship, where you should and should not be spending your money and so forth. Families do butt into your business. However, how deep does your love go? Sometimes it is a selection between your significant other or the person that you're getting involved in and your family. You have to make that decision.
I think too, though, what is it called? Not guidelines. Not borderlines.
Borderlines.
Yeah, that the person who's having the difficult family needs to set
parameters.
Yeah, but there's a different word I'm looking for. But yes.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like they need to set the precedence of, hey, I know you don't like this person, but you're going to respect them, or you're not going to do this or that around them type. Not guidelines. What is the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but while you think about that, do you think that
boundaries? Thank you.
You just said boundaries.
No, boundaries. I didn't say boundaries. Guidelines. I kept saying guidelines.
Oh, guidelines. Okay.
Boundaries. Thank you, sister.
How in that case though, how does that play out when it comes to you making a choice? Do you look at the love that you have for your partner, because your love for your family is always going to be there, hopefully. Does it depend on how much you love your partner or the potential on where you're going to go to make you make that decision?
Yep. Because your family is your family, but ultimately your goal in life should be to build your own family.
Okay.
Right? Because you're not married to your parents.
But from the start, though.
That they just didn't like that person?
There's sometimes when you meet someone and you question yourself whether you're going to introduce them to your family or not. Right? And sometimes they say that's within months. But after a few months, let's say 2, 3, 4 months.
They still haven't grown on me.
Yeah, but you already, let's say you haven't met them. You know what I mean? Because you just don't bring anyone around your family like ASAP, like right away. So if you stall it out and you say, you know what, I really feel this way about this person, 6 months, you might be in love with this person. And then all of a sudden you're going to introduce them to your family and they cannot stand your partner. What do you do then?
I hear you, but I think it depends on the family too. Like me, like if Zaylin brought a girl home that I did not like, and it's happened, I didn't love his girlfriend. I'm just saying. I didn't love her. I mean, I didn't hate her, but I just saw more for him. But I didn't say that, or I didn't force my beliefs on him. He has to live his own life. Do you know what I'm saying?
But what do you mean by that? Because once you say you don't like somebody and you say you saw more, what is it that she could have done more to satisfy you? That was a question.
Because I just felt like she was more about what she was going to get out of it instead of them together, what they were going to do together. So there was no
growth together. It was about how she can come up
she was going to get from him.
All right.
Right. But he had to figure it out for himself. I never once would be like, oh, this and that. Now, if he made a comment and I agreed with it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally get that, or I agree, or whatever. But I would never talk bad about her on my own terms.
But what happens when she don't like you?
That's her problem.
Okay.
That's
All
her
right.
problem. But I'm likable.
But at the decision,
that's
like
her
let's say
problem.
like your mom, right? Because you and your family, y'all had a really good relationship
Correct.
with each other.
Yep.
So then, and especially with your mom. So then, let's say your mom says, "I just don't like
Mm-hmm.
this dude."
My mom, there's been a few guys on both mine and my sister's
Okay.
roster, if you want to
The
call it
roster.
that. I'm just saying. And she didn't care for them. But Juanita was the person that she just kept her comments to herself unless we asked her.
Okay.
She would state this or that, but she never like tried to like force her opinion on us.
Okay,
She
so-
let us figure it out.
So you're in a relationship, or you start a relationship, and you ask, let's say your mom, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, what do you think about this person?" And she says, I don't care for this person at all." Does that sway your opinion at all, or do you just like, all right, that's just her opinion, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, no matter if it's a rift between your mom and this person?
Mhm.
Because let's say you get serious, and
Mhm.
I've heard this before, where you have these family gatherings for like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever,
Which can make it difficult.
and
or
yeah, you
awkward.
know that your mom is
Doesn't like them.
uncomfortable with your choice of a partner.
See, but that's also the dynamic with your family. I know my mom would still be respectful. There's other family members of mine's parents that I know would be verbal
Oh,
with their dislikes.
okay.
Right? And so those type of parents, I probably would think twice about bringing someone around. But my mom, who may not like them, she will always be respectful. I feel like you've said that about your parents too.
Oh, my parents are respectful.
Correct. Even
for
if they
everyone.
didn't. Now, as soon as they walk out that door, everyone may be talking crap.
I don't think my
But
mom
to
ever.
their face,
Yeah, I don't think my parents ever said that they didn't, like they hated someone, or they felt uncomfortable with that person being in their presence. You know what I mean? I think they you can tell by the way that they interact with the person that you're with if they
Right,
care for them
because
or
they
not.
didn't make a lot of effort.
Yeah, to communicate
know
this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that part. But there are some families, and somebody told me this once before, where the man didn't get along with her parents. The
Mhm.
guy did. I mean, she didn't get along with his parents. So during the holidays, they would just go to separate homes.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like if I want to be single, I'd be single.
Yeah, but is that only for the holiday? Or if I'm
But
going to go visit my
still,
parents, I'm going to go visit my
by
parents.
myself
You're not going to go with me
because
because
of that.
Yeah. So
Right,
how
but
do
what
you
if your
juggle that
parents live out of
situation?
town? What, I'm gonna stay at the hotel while you're hanging out with your parents?
It might be that
Hey,
way.
I'll go to the spa then.
Thank you guys for joining us. For those that just joined us, the conversation today is: should you end your relationship with someone because of their family? Because you either like the family, dislike the family, or they just dislike you. How does that relationship work?
Can we kind of give a list of like reasons that family may not like?
Okay.
Yeah?
Let's go
Okay.
that route. Like, what is the reason why?
Off the top of my head, maybe it's like a young couple and maybe she or he has kids and their child doesn't.
Okay.
So they're like, ooh,
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was talking to someone today, and I said, well, maybe the reason is when they were dating, let's say he put her through the ringer, and the father was the only person that was there for her when she was crying, when she was this, that, and the other, puppy love, that young love. And the only person that she could go to, and he's seen her be tore down in those times, to make him form an opinion about the guy and the way that he treated his daughter,
his little girl,
or vice versa. It could be the way that the girl treats the guy. And that might be a reason why the parents do not like the individual.
Okay.
But normally, what happens when that occurs, right? And the girl gets back with the guy, or the guy gets back with the girl.
Well, that's why they always say too that you shouldn't talk about what's going on in your relationship to others, because then they form this opinion, and then you're doing this back and forth, and oh, you're in love with them, and oh, I hate them, and then your family doesn't do the back and forth. What sticks with them is the negative.
Yes, because
especially
they're protective of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes your family will disown you because of the decision that you made.
Right.
So you might be the issue. It's not the significant other, your partner. You might be the issue that's the device that's bringing the issue to your family.
Right.
Yeah. So what else? What are some other reasons?
Another one
why?
I can think of off the top of my head is maybe they're just like not ambitious enough, or your parents just don't think they're at your level.
Right.
Maybe you're like on your way up in a company, or you're about to go to college and do big things, and this person is working at a restaurant and doesn't really have plans for the future, so they just feel like they could hold you back.
Right. It's always the more. You always going to want more for your
family,
kid. Yeah.
right.
And so forth. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. What if the person is just downright disrespectful?
Oh,
Like old school parents find old school disrespect, like the person came into the house and they didn't acknowledge me, or
right.
they don't ever want to hold a
Or they
conversation
didn't open
with
the door
me.
for
you
my
know,
daughter.
or they disrespect me, or
Yeah.
they do this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
which might cause, especially in today's age
Mhm.
when everything is feelings driven,
Right.
a form of disrespect. You know what I mean? How can you get over something when they disrespect? And let's say you are the individual, and I'm voicing my opinion to you, and you
Again,
do nothing about it.
I think it's knowing your family. So if like I'm a daddy's girl and I know that my parents have these expectations, hey, my dad expects whoever I'm seeing to do this, this, and that. I think that a heads up, because you know what your family's expectations for you are, to let them know so that they're kind of already on guard, not guard, like
Yeah, but
knowledgeable.
Is okay. The
Don't
knowledge,
set them up for failure.
yeah, the knowledge is the key, but sometimes you can tell when somebody's being fake about it. You know, sometimes you can tell when they're just doing stuff because you told them to do it, especially in the manner that
I
they
hear
do
you,
it.
but if my parent comes at me and says, "Hey, they're disrespectful," or "Hey, they seem fake,"
Then what?
come on, pick your battle. Are you?
Whoa.
What is someone being fake, in your opinion, gonna hurt me? Maybe they're just putting on not a show, but they're just trying to be respectful and they're nervous. This is the first time, but really, that's what you're coming at me. You don't like them because you feel like they're being fake.
No, some people you can just tell. Like, let's say you have a work partner, or somebody comes into your circle of friends.
Mhm.
You can just tell from the start by them not even saying anything if you're gonna like them or not. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you could just size somebody up and be like, I just don't care for this person.
I hear you. I guess because I choose, it's hard for me to think that, because even with like coworkers, I tend to try to make my own opinion about people, because I've had like, say, coworkers who like, oh, I don't like so and so
Okay.
because she's this and that.
Right.
I hear what they're saying, but I will never base my opinion until I have this interaction. And if I have the same opinion, great. But I've had like circumstances where they said one thing and I didn't get that same vibe at all.
Right. And I get that part, but what happens when like somebody else comes into your circle, right?
Mhm.
Your circle of friends or whatever circle that you're in.
Yeah.
And they come in and you just observe them. You don't have no conversation with them.
Mhm.
And the way that they carry themselves, the way that they act and whatnot, you just like, nah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens when you're children or you get into a relationship where somebody's like, they're around and you're just looking, because I'm a watcher. I'll watch you first. And then I'm just like, that's not my type of person.
I can give a small example to that. And just in general, I've heard several parents talk about this, is like, if you for the first time meet your kids, I would say normally, unfortunately, it's boys who would do this, but it could happen on both ends, is when they meet the parents, they forget where they're at and they curse. And they're just cursing left and right. And it's the first time they met them. Clearly, that's the way they talk, or they may hold their tongue a little better.
Yeah.
But they're just F-bombs or, this and that words.
Yeah. I think
Vulgar
we've been
words.
through that once.
Correct. But we're also open-minded. Like, yes, we were like, that was pretty bold to do that, but we also we weren't like, oh, we don't like him because he did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember one time my daughter's friends, when I picked him up from the skating rink, and this girl was in the back just cussing. She was just dropping F-bombs left and right. I put the brakes on. Like, I was
You
like,
said, I'm
look,
not your
I am
friend.
not one of your friends. You
Yeah.
will not be in here talking like you in the streets, especially around me. Like respect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do remember when we had an incident where we met someone and this person was cursing and stuff like that, like we were equals.
But the thing is we didn't base our whole opinion and let that block us from getting to know that person more.
I agree.
And some parents are like that. It's like if they mess up one thing, they're out.
Right. And I really could have, because I'm a person that I've
You
never
will
cussed
not
in front of my
curse.
parents.
Yeah.
My parents and my sister, I've never cursed in front of my parents or my sister.
Right.
Out of respect for those individuals. I respect my sister and my parents. So that's just me. That's just me. So when somebody comes around and they're cussing, and I understand if they say, you know, some of the calmer curse words, I understand that. But when you dropping F-bombs left and right, like, come on, man, you got to get it together. So if I was one of those dudes, then I could have been like,
That reminds me of Elodia. If you're watching, Elodia has like the worst verbiage for stuff, just F-bombs left and right. And my mom's this little like sweet little thing, but with Elodia, she would always just say, "Oh, Elodia," like, but she wouldn't criticize. She just knew that was her, and she knew that she knew her heart just because she curses, right? But she would, "Oh, Elodia,"
but
like,
yeah, it's just a difficult situation when you fall in love as a person. You find who you think is the one for you. And then all of a sudden you find out that your family, does not care for the person that you think is the one for you. How do you make that choice on who you should be with? Is it what you say? Is it the point that you have to start looking for your future, right? With someone that you want to build your family with and so forth? Or do you stick with the values of your family because you know your family is going to always be there for you?
Again, I think that there has to be some give on both ends. There has to be.
Yeah, but sometimes there's
your
not.
Parents sometimes need to bend and be like, look, this is their life. They have to figure it out for themselves.
I agree.
And we're just here to help them out and guide them, but I can't make their decisions for them.
Yeah, sometimes, but you make the wrong decision. And
I hear you.
I'm not going to say the wrong decision. Sometimes you make a decision to stay with the person that you're with, and then you burn the bridge with your family, and then what they said about that person is true. And so you end up having to go either apologize or going back home.
Between your legs.
Yes, because
your
love is blind.
Either way, you take a chance. You either cut that person off, and that could have been your forever because of your family, or you put your family in their place and then they distance themselves. And then you lose that contact with your family.
I don't know if I can lose
your family,
my family for someone.
I hear you. But again, you also know your family. Like there's people who know their parents are going to have a problem, who know their parents are difficult, who know, right? And so sometimes, like, what if, damn, I'm on my third boyfriend that I really care about and I cannot seem to keep them because of my parents? At some point, you have to make a choice.
Yeah, if my parents are legitimately always in my business, you know what I mean? Because you have some parents that they don't want to cut the umbilical cord, you know what I mean? So they try to control your situation.
Their beliefs on you.
Yes, you have those type of parents or family members, period. But if it's something where I bring somebody around and they're breaking it down to me like this person is this and this person is blah blah blah, I'm going to kind of listen to my family, or I'm going to try to figure out what it is that they do not like about my partner to try to build that bridge, because I would hate to have to choose between my significant other and my family. And I hate to say this, my significant other might take a L. I don't know.
So if you're currently listening, our topic is about if you would end a relationship if your family doesn't like that person. I would like to hear from you guys. Maybe you've been in this situation that you did have to pick How did that
Mm.
go? What made you decide? How did it end up? Right. So even if you want to call us, our phone number is
505-575-2484.
yeah, call in. I'm really interested in just seeing. I fortunately have not had to choose.
But do you know anybody that has had to choose between their significant other and their family?
Off the top of my head, ooh, a few, but
Oh, like
well, more not that they had to choose, it just made it more difficult to enjoy holidays because it was awkward, or the parent would state something and it would make it awkward for everyone, like those type of things.
it was short. It was a short visit. You
Yes.
go do what you got to do, and then
Or
you're
there was
out.
drama. They would still stayed with them, but then there was drama. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know what? I think in my family, there has been a time where my parents probably didn't care for certain individuals, but they were more disappointed at our actions. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna make it broad instead of narrow it down to one person. Our actions, like you allowed this to happen. You know what I mean? So since you allowed it to happen, we can't fault him because he was doing what he was designed to do. You see what I'm saying? So in that case, like I said, I don't know what would happen if my parents just did not like someone that I was in love with. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Would I end it? Because like I said, I really like my family. I like my family dynamics.
I
I think
agree.
they're pretty cool and whatnot. They're always going to be my family. But if the person I was with caused issues within my family,
Yeah.
to break up that, to even get us to talk, I don't know if I could still stay in that relationship.
Crystal says, I remember Ron knowing the guy I was dating wasn't good, but I was blinded and had to see for myself.
I like Pat.
She's not
I
talking
know.
about Pat. We all loved Pat from the get-go. It was Crystal who took some convincing. Hold on, I have another comment. Felicia Ornella says, I was on the other end of this situation.
Okay.
My husband's mother never liked me or accepted me from the start.
Why?
Hold on. I think I can count the interactions I've had with this woman on one hand, and this has been for 15 years now. So, Felicia, do you find that like holidays or get-togethers, especially maybe for your significant other, is a little difficult or hard to manage? Because, I mean, in 15 years that your husband, I would think or significant other would have to have birthday gatherings or some type of celebrations. Do you guys just celebrate separately?
No, they probably celebrate as one, but she feels a certain way for her because she said this woman. So when you start saying this woman, that means you've already separated yourself from her. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And what was the reason why? She says they haven't connected or haven't liked
that
her.
might
What
be
was the reason
personal,
why?
but if you're willing to share why you think she didn't like you, please share with us.
Because there has to be a reason why she doesn't interact, whether she's taking away her only son or she thinks that he deserved better or something like that in her opinion. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's difficult.
What could be some other reasons that families wouldn't like? Maybe they're like a substance abuse, maybe domestic violence, issues.
Maybe the what do you call it? Potential of a person. I think you kind of alluded to this before, like the potential. Like this person's a good person, but he's not really doing anything
with his life.
To help out the situation. Yes.
How about religious things, race? Some families are like, you stay within our race and or our ethnicity, and that's it. You don't go outside of that. That's a hard one.
I dated this young lady back when I was in high school. I think it might have been I was in high school, and she introduced me to her father, and he had just come from the shooting range, and he showed me his perfect shots, and he says
he was one of those, huh?
Yeah, he says, I don't have anything against you. I just believe in playing in your own backyard. Now, she was Hispanic and I was black. of course. But she, he was saying
Clearly,
that,
he has a type.
right? No, but he said that, you know what? I'm not. He kind of says I'm not really racist.
Right. But he
I just wanted my
believes-
daughter to be with another Mexican guy.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't take offense to it. I understood where he was coming from, but yeah.
It is what it is.
Right. And then we
Love
didn't
is
have
love.
a lot of interaction between the two of us. He said what he had to say,
Oh.
and then we just
Sorry,
moved
guys.
on.
I'm seeing all kinds of comments all of a sudden. Okay, she says, Felicia says, no reason whatsoever. The only thing I can think of is he was going through a divorce when we met, and I think she blames me.
Oh.
Okay,
So she
that
likes
makes
the
sense.
ex.
Well, maybe not even she likes the ex, but she felt maybe that their relationship was based on the wrong things because maybe she, in her mind,
Right.
thought that he was still in a relationship, but then
Or she liked the ex, and then she came along and she thinks the reason why he moved on from the ex is because of her, or the reason they got a divorce was because of her.
Felicia says no, she hated her too.
Oh, okay.
So it's just mama. She's protective of her boy,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. Ernestine Morales says, well, my mom did not care for my ex, and I went along with what I felt and stayed.
Okay.
She later threw it in my face because he
Ooh.
was everything she told me he would be.
Ooh.
But I was always taught you learn from your mistakes. So I lived and believe me, I learned.
Okay. Like I said, when people come into your life, they're either a lesson or a blessing. Some people look at others and know that you're going to learn a lesson from this situation. Some people can look at it and say, hey, that is the one for you. And
yeah,
so
but
forth.
some people want to control that.
I
and that's what
agree.
I don't agree. And I agree with Tina that you have to learn for yourself.
I agree with that too. But if somebody's telling you something from afar, because like I said earlier in this conversation, love is blind. Like you're going through some things and you're falling in love with the person and you want to see the positive in them. But when somebody else sees the negative in them, you tend to block that portion out. Right?
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't work out, then you're like, you know what, man, you were right. I thought this, and this. But the reason it didn't work out is because of the same reasons that your family was telling you it wasn't going to work out.
That to me is the most crappiest ending.
When
everything they said
was right. Yes. When everything that someone says about your relationship not working out is right, I don't know how you kind of recover from that. You like,
you know what? You just have to swallow your pride and say you were right.
Not me. I'd make up something else.
Would
like
you?
It wasn't that reason. It was this reason.
Oh my God. I would probably be like, you know what? You were right.
Nah.
I just had to go through it myself. Thank you for sticking by me.
Yeah. You might. But then you're right. You gotta admit that you were wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it would get to a point where I would have to make a decision between my significant other or the person that I'm getting involved with and my family. I think if it came to that point where I would have to make a decision, then I think I'm done.
Really?
Yeah.
So, okay. Let me not bring that up.
No, I asked the question.
So if your family didn't like me, because I didn't meet your family until a couple years in. No,
Okay.
I'm lying. I met them that July but we already moved in together. It's not like we were just dating.
Right.
Right. I went and met them for 4th of July weekend.
That's correct.
So if they didn't like me, you would have been like, welp.
It depends on the reasoning why they didn't like you. First of all, I know my parents and my family. I don't think they would just not like you.
That's what I'm saying.
But,
I think that you're lucky because you have family who
or
just
open,
like my
or
mom.
open
But
family.
there are families who
Right. If I would ask them the question, like, what is it that you don't care about? And if they told me, like, you were detrimental to my future or the family, or you were disrespectful or this, that, and the other, then I'm sorry. I can't, because I can't make the decision to stay away from my family. I have to bring you around my family, you know what I mean? And I don't want them to be uncomfortable because of our relationship. You know what I mean? It just depends on the degree of hatred that they had for you.
I'm going to give another example, and this is movie based, so it might be far fetched, but
All right.
it could possibly happen. I'm thinking of the Brothers movie where the guy is seeing the girl
Okay.
and he finds out that she used to date
The dad.
the dad.
Oh, that's a different podcast right there.
Right?
Um,
But
and
the mama was all up the daddy's booty.
yeah,
So
but in that case, it'd be uncomfortable because you're talking
Right.
about intimacy between
a
the
father and his son.
yeah, and his
Correct.
son's
But
girl
the
or
mom will
whatnot.
definitely not like her, like you've been with my man, and then you're not good enough for my son. Like that would be
But then again, you would have to make that decision if you knew that your man, if you knew that I had slept with your mama.
oh yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna have to make that decision from there. So once you make that decision that it was okay, then
I'm just saying that was another
it's on a
scenario that
different-
popped in my head. Like,
that's on a
oh,
different
that's
level.
happened.
Yeah,
Totally right.
It's on a different. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You have people that
Or-
have married within the family. Let's say like I married Crystal,
Mhm.
and then me and Crystal broke up, and then me and you started vibing, and then all of a sudden I married you. So then now we're married, but then my ex is your sister.
That's weird.
But
and
it
especially
happens.
if you have kids. What if you had kids with my sister and then we have kids? Our kids would be cousins and brother and
sister.
siblings.
It happens.
Weird.
You know what I mean? It happens. Or
Weird.
not just saying your sister per se, but let's say one of your cousins or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I used to be married to you, and then all of a sudden me and one of your cousins started seeing each other or whatnot. That could be a reason why some of your family members be like, "Oh no, that's
we don't
foul
like
right
him,
there."
right?
You see what I'm
That's too
saying?
close for
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
You shouldn't see him.
So that would be another reason why your family would kind of distance themselves from
Yeah,
the relationship.
right.
Yeah.
How about what's another reason that a family would dislike somebody?
Financial situation where
Oh.
you're always like, I'm supposed to be the man of the family, but I'm not taking care of my financial responsibilities, to force you to always go to a different family member to
For
ask
help.
for help or something.
So
like
I'm
that.
thinking, so we're really big into the 90 Day Fiancés, and there's this one very handsome young guy, and he literally lives in like a studio apartment, and the bathroom isn't even in his apartment. It's like a community bathroom.
Did you just tell everybody we watched 90 Day Fiancé?
You may not want to admit it, but he watches it too and turns it on his own.
Sorry, put all my business in the
And he
street.
talks with Kiana about it all the time. Kiana, where you at?
You put all my business in the street.
Tina says, "Stop it. That's crazy." So, what was I saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So his bathroom is like not even in his little room.
But you know what?
And he doesn't have a lot of income. He lives like in the ghetto in California.
But he's doing what he needed to do
He is,
as far as
but
when he was a
Mama
single
was
person.
not having it.
She was not.
She was very judgy about it, and even she was supposed to be there to like visit. She ended up taking the daughter with her to the hotel because she's like, "I'm not leaving my daughter here."
But normally, when you're a parent, you want your child to be financially able to support or be supported.
I hear you.
One or the other. So once that comes into play, and then you look at the potential of a person, then you start thinking like this person can do more. If you see yourself getting into a situation, one or the other needs to do more. So then you form some type of opinion.
But again,
about a
an
person.
opinion is different than involving yourself and trying to break up a relationship.
Well, sometimes people make you get involved. Like I always tell, like Hennessy and Zaylen and whatnot, I don't get into your business until you force me. Yeah, you force me to get into your business. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you are out there like that, you force somebody to get involved.
Right.
So it just depends on the
Especially
level
if you're
of
always
involvement.
talking about the drama.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So then that'll make you form an opinion about the situation because you're always involved in it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying one of these parents that's always trying to make decisions for individuals. You know what I mean? Like if you tell me a situation and I'll tell you what I would do. And if you don't do what I tell you that I would do,
Mhm.
then you're wrong and I'm
Right.
all up in your
You're
business like
upset
that.
about
But
it.
yeah. But
Hmm.
there's a lot of circumstances where you can get involved as a parent, or they will get you involved as a parent for you to form a dislike about the person that your child or your family member is actually with.
Right.
Right. Normally, when they come to you, their family members come to you, or you come to your parents, especially with some of these people that always come to family members with
There's
negativity.
drama. Yes.
Yeah. On
Then
social
again,
media.
that's where your family stays. They're not in that back and forth
Right. You
head
only
space.
Yeah, normally you only hear what your family member is telling you. You know what I mean? If you're going through some negative situations, I'm going to hear your part of the story,
Yeah.
right? And your part of the story is always going to be right. Like, oh, he did what, or she did what, this, that, and the other. Oh no, this, that, and the other. That
Yeah.
might not even be the situation, but I'm listening to you. So then when this person comes around, I'm just in the back
You
of my
have
mind like,
an opinion.
yeah,
I know.
this person is no good because
I
of
hear
what
you.
you said.
I hear what you're saying, but again, there's a difference between an opinion
Mhm.
and inserting your opinion where it doesn't belong.
If you come to me and ask me some questions, I'm going to give you my opinion.
Do you
I'm
really
not going to give
believe
you
that?
facts. I'm not going to give you the facts about your relationship, but I will give you my opinion if you ask for it.
If you ask for it, but are you going to make it difficult? If your daughter came to you and you hated the person that she was seeing, would you make it difficult for her in that relationship?
I wouldn't make it difficult, but I would tell her I don't like him.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I would be
fine
like,
if you
I wouldn't even say I don't like him.
you
I
I
would say
don't
I don't care
Correct.
for,
I know you.
I don't care for him because
of
of
this. But you wouldn't
Yes.
make it difficult. You wouldn't talk crap to that person. You wouldn't
No.
expect her to not bring them. Don't bring them around
Right.
here.
And here's the
You're
reason.
not like that.
Right. And here's the reason why is because no matter what the situation is or how I feel about
You'll always
him,
want a relationship with your
yes,
daughter.
I would always
know.
want
I
her to be
agree.
able to come talk to me or
I
be able to
agree.
bring
My
herself
dislike
around
for
me.
that person is not greater than my love for my child.
There you go.
Right?
You hit it. You hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
I would agree with you on that.
Correct.
You make your choices. You make your decisions or your choices, and you have to deal with that. I'm gonna watch you. Just let you know.
And I'm here if you need.
Right.
Something.
I'm gonna let you know I told you. But if it doesn't work out, I'm not gonna be like I told you so or this, that, and the other. You gonna tell me that. Like, hey, you told me, right? But I'm not going to outcast anyone. I don't say you don't bring this person around unless this person is straight up disrespectful to me.
Right.
Then I'll put my foot down. If they're not disrespectful, and I
Okay,
just don't care about
but
the
if
person.
they're disrespectful to you, would you expect them to break up, or would you just say don't bring them
Don't
around?
bring them around. You do
Right.
whatever you got to do with that person,
Correct.
but don't bring them around because it's going to be worse.
But you're not trying to make that decision to separate
I
them.
am not. That's
Right.
not my decision to make.
Right.
Yeah, that's not my decision to make.
But
So,
some parents do.
I agree.
Or family members do.
I agree with that.
Or they're just strong opinionated. Like they're just opinionated.
Yes.
And it could even be a distant family member who
Could
always
be.
has an opinion about everyone else's business.
Could
Right?
be. Yes, ma'am.
Huh. I have to say I was always lucky that my mom didn't like force her opinion on us or wasn't like rude to people even if she
Right.
felt a certain way. So I'm very appreciative of that. But again, I do know of a lot of people who are or have, and it's awkward.
Yes, and I'm the same way. My parents, not my parents, my dad don't never say nothing. My mom
No.
at times, she had told me like that person is not for you.
Mm.
Right.
Well, that's a nice way to say
Yeah,
it.
she just said, hey, you know what? That person is not for you.
Mm.
And I was like, all right then. And then I learned, throughout the years or months or however I was with that person, that she was probably right. You know what I mean? She didn't get into details about why this person wasn't for me, this, that, and the other. She just says, you know what, man, I see you, and I don't think that person is for you.
And she was right.
And I respected that. You know what I mean? Well, she said that about you too, but
babe.
No, I'm just playing. She ain't never said nothing negative. No. about you.
You're on trouble. We're gonna have to talk offline, sir.
Nah, they ain't never said nothing negative about you.
Anyways,
Yeah.
anything else? I think we covered.
I think we
in
covered
general.
everything. You
Okay.
know, this has been a topic that has been going on. If you look on social
Mhm.
media and things of
Always.
that nature, you see individuals that
Oh,
don't
I
get
wanted to
along
bring
with
up
their-
what is that show we watch? We watch too.
We don't watch no show.
Yes, the Smothered. If y'all have seen
Oh.
the movie Smothered, these
It's
people
a
are
show.
weird.
It's not a movie. It's
I
a
mean, it's a
TV
show.
Yeah,
And it's where like the parent, normally it's moms,
yeah. I don't see
are
any
like
dads.
very like in the business and always around and weirdness type
controlling
stuff.
and copycatting
Controlling
and living their
they
life
wear
through
the
their
same
kids.
clothes.
Yeah.
They're rubbing lotion on their kid, like grown kid, or weird stuff. Like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So like you see the partners who are trying to have a relationship with the kid who's in this weird smothered parental relationship,
Mhm.
and at some point, and so far these guys have stuck around,
So far,
right?
because maybe you know what you're getting into when you get into it. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
if you meet the person, you had to meet them with the mama.
I don't know. I think though, when you first meet them, you don't realize how
deep it
is. But
Yeah.
then if you keep watching, it's deep. Like
Yeah.
you're never gonna get rid of mama.
Probably not. Probably
Anyways,
not.
sorry, that was on my mind.
But yeah, it's the conversation about the decision that you have to make if your significant other or your family doesn't like your significant
Mhm.
other is real. Like I said, go on social media. You would see some
It
of
happens
the
a lot.
some of the
Yeah.
relationships that have been broken between uh, mother and son, or father
Mhm.
and son, or
Even
mother and
siblings.
daughter. Yeah,
Siblings could be like, I don't like your man. Or,
right.
Yeah.
The thing is, keep your business to yourself. You know what I mean? Let your family
Figure it out on their own.
focus on if they're going to focus on you, let them focus on you and have them form an opinion, but don't always run to them and tell them your
Mhm.
personal business, because normally if stuff is not going right and you're always talking to your family about what's going wrong, they're going to form an opinion on the person that you're with per your conversation,
Yeah.
and not really get a chance to know who your significant other actually is.
And my main point is to set boundaries.
Okay.
Whether it's your significant other that you need to set boundaries for when it comes to your family, or your family with your significant other, the person who's stuck in the middle, to me, unfortunately, is the one who's responsible to set those boundaries.
Right. And that's why I've always said, like, when you go through things and you see it on social media, if you're in a relationship, stop posting your personal business, your negative business on social media, because you have people that don't know you chiming in, people that do know you probably chiming in, and only chiming in to support you, not knowing the full spectrum of your situation or your conversation. They just focus on what you are saying.
Right.
So if you don't want them to form an opinion and throw darts and always siding with you, keep your personal business, what you go through in your relationships, off of social media. If you have a close knit friend circle, talk to your boys, talk to your girls, but stop putting your business on social media. Some of you guys, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna be straight up blunt, look ridiculous how you break down the person like they're a piece of dirt, they're this, that, and the other. And then next week, I love this person. Oh, he's my world. He's my no. You didn't say that last week when you were asking me to chime in, and then I said this person was a piece of doo-doo. Okay, let me get off my soapbox. Thank you guys for joining us today. We are Tower of Opinion. I am Ron.
I'm Angela.
And thank you guys for your support. Join us next Thursday, 6 o'clock Mountain
6
Time.
o'clock, guys.
As we discuss another topic. If you have any other topics that you want us to discuss, make sure you DM us and we will get right on it. Until next time, we'll holler at you guys.
Thanks, guys.